Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. A fall on the Billings Rim sends emergency crews into action today.
But this time was different. A young boy hadn't fallen from the rims, but instead he fell through the rims and was stuck in a crevice.
Definitely some tense moments when that boy slipped, becoming lodged about 5 feet down between the rocks.
Now, the call came in just after 5 tonight. Firefighters say the boy fell into a crevice while walking with his mom on the snow. A firefighter on a tether line was sent down into the crevice and the boy was pulled to safety.
Firefighters say on days like this, it's important to go slow and steady outside.
You can see it's snow covered. We've actually opened it up, but even right through here, I know there's fissures in the rocks right through here and you can't see them. It's been obscured by the snow and ice, but they're still present. So I encourage everybody to use caution when walking on these rims.
It took firefighters about an hour to get the boy out. We're told he had minor injuries.
The Miles City School District is asking a judge to dismiss a massive civil case surrounding its longtime athletic trainer accused of sexually abusing hundreds of boys.
The district is saying the case is legally improper. That case involves 78-year-old James Jensen, who's expected to be in a Missoula federal courtroom tomorrow to plead guilty to separate federal charges of coercion. Well, just this evening, we reached out to attorneys for both sides. Those with the school district say school administrators in charge went above and beyond to address what little information they had.
The district also says it had no reason to hide or ignore the horrors Mr. Jensen appears to have inflicted. In September, a massive case was filed on behalf of 31 former student athletes who say they were given massages and inappropriate rub downs during Jensen's program that promised to increase athletic performance.
The motion discusses the legal issues with the plaintiff's complaint and asks that 2 of the 6 claims be dismissed as legally improper.
Well, we reached out to the lawyer for the plaintiffs, who says it is shocking that a school district would argue it's obligated to report sexual abuse by a parent, but not a school employee.
Billings City Council members are showing their support for the One Big Sky development plan despite ending the contract with Landmark Development last month.
Council members voted unanimously tonight to draft a letter showing their support for the bill that is expected to be heard next week in Helena and the legislative tool that it would provide for projects like One Big Sky. Board members also approved a list of their top priorities for the coming year.
Q2's Mitch Legge was at tonight's meeting and gives us a look at some of the issues council will be putting its focus on. Mitch?
Russ and Jeanelle, the council mapped these priorities out at a couple of previously held work sessions, ranking them as high, medium, and low. Topping the list, improving the safety of Billings. The council wants to, quote, improve law enforcement capabilities. Council members plan to do this by setting a standard for what a safe Billings looks like. They want to improve our safety ranking compared to other Montana cities and improve our sense of safety in neighborhoods, downtown, and parks. Those rankings will be compared to FBI statistics and National Citizen Survey results. Another priority, making it easier for police to investigate human trafficking in Billings. I spoke with Council Member Penny Ronning about the issue.
What I often hear on City Council is from members of the public, why is the city not shutting them down? Well, the issue with that is that we have to have laws in order for law enforcement to get through those doors. Right now in Montana, we have very loose laws. We are working on an ordinance that will address that at a city level. We need to have good law in place for law enforcement to be able to do something.
And in order to combat that, Ronning says that Billings needs new city ordinances and changes in state law. Other top priorities were One Big Sky, a successful 2019 state legislature, West End reservoir and water treatment projects, and to complete Project Recode. Russ and Jeanelle?
All right, thanks so much, Mitch.
We want to turn to the weather now. A nice warm up out there, which I think everyone was happy about. Yeah. And Bobby said it could lead to some flooding problems.
Yeah, there's a downside of that. Of course, you know, we had some very cold air on February 2nd. Then the snow came on top of that. That cold air froze all the ground. And so here's what's happening. Now we put all the snow on top of it, a lot of snow up on top of it. I know in my yard I got about 8 inches still all over the place. The sun is melting the snow. And so what happens when that snow melts? It turns to water, right? Well, the ground is frozen. There's no place for the groundwater to go. It can't percolate back into the ground because it's frozen. So we could actually see some localized flooding out of all this if we continue to to see the snow melt, and no place for that runoff to go. And as you'll see, our forecast model shows we're expecting mostly sunny skies, at least for the next couple of days, but we could see some snow moving in here by the time Wednesday of this week gets here. We'll have more on that in a few more minutes. Russ, Jeanelle?
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, the Shepherd School District faces a big task as it asked voters for a $17 million bond. Ahead of the May 7th vote, Q2's Samantha Sullivan met with school officials and some concerned parents about why the time for change in Shepherd may be now.
How long has it been since there's been a major upgrade to this campus?
Approximately 30 years. Right now we're at 110% capacity in the elementary. This project is designed for 1% growth a year for the next 25 years, and there shouldn't need to be another bond issue in there unless there's exceptional growth in the area.
The bond, which will go to the community for a vote in May, would address a laundry list of issues at the Shepherd schools.
Our big concern is safety. There is not a clean line of sight, so we have a hard time knowing who's coming and going from the buildings.
Leaking ceiling tiles, I remember seeing those all the time.
Lunchroom hasn't been changed since I was here, 30 years ago.
Okay, we need to bring our voices down. Updates have been in the works for years, and the need became even more apparent when just a week into the school year, the kindergarten building was deemed unsafe for students due to bad air quality.
It's devastating. They missed almost a week of school this year. Those are days we can never get back as education.
There are kids in hallways learning and in closets and spaces where they should never have to be to learn.
The kindergarten building, along with the current library, which used to be a restaurant and now has septic issues as a result, would be torn down and a new 50,000 square foot building would take its place. The new building would connect to the existing school structures, which also helps with the security concerns of the building by limiting points of entry. There would also be about 23,000 square feet of renovated space, allowing for some updates to the science labs, as well as the school kitchen and lunchrooms, and a new consolidated weight room to make better use of the school's existing equipment. After decades without any major upgrades, these folks hope the time for change is now.
I think that now is time to invest in our community. I think that it's never going to get easier or cheaper than it is today. We've got a good group of people on the school board, administrators. It is time for the community of Shepherd to get behind them.
In Shepherd, Samantha Sullivan, MTN News.
Thanks, Sammy. For more details on the proposal and the exact tax impact on your household, you can find this story on our website, ktvq.com.
President Trump unveiled his 2020 budget proposal Monday. The $4.7 trillion spending blueprint includes $8.6 billion for a border wall and sets up a new showdown with Congress. Bola Langi has the latest from Capitol Hill.
President Trump delivered his 2020 budget proposal to Congress Monday, asking for $8.6 billion in new funding for his long-promised border wall.
He thinks it's important to secure the country. It's one of his most basic constitutional responsibilities.
The funds would go towards building more than 700 miles of barrier along the U.S.-Mexico border. Cuts to domestic programs, including Medicaid, would pay for it.
We need to continue to secure the country. We need to continue to secure the border. We're not going to be bashful about that.
Democratic leaders are already pushing back.
The budget requests we received today would be a gut punch to the middle class, a handout to powerful special interests, the wealthiest few.
President Trump's pursuit of border wall funding led to a record-breaking partial government shutdown earlier this year, something that could happen again in the fall.
The president failed to convince Congress, the American people, and perhaps most glaringly, Mexico, to pay for his border wall.
Senate Republicans are set to vote this week on a resolution passed in the House blocking the national emergency the president declared to finance the wall.
Let's not forget the only reason he has the authority to call a national emergency is because Congress gave him the right to do so. They failed to do their job. The president's fulfilling his duty.
In a tweet earlier, President Trump urged Republicans to stand with him, saying in part, it's about border security and the wall, stopping crime, drugs, etc. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The $4.7 trillion budget blueprint also includes more money for infrastructure spending and raises overall defense spending to $750 billion. The plan would not eliminate the record deficit for another 15 years. Montana senators weighing in today. Republican Senator Steve Daines said, quote, The budget released today by President Trump is merely a blueprint. Congress makes the final decision on funding for programs. The president is right to focus on excessive spending as the core driver of the debt crisis. Democratic Senator John Tester says he's concerned about the president's proposed cuts to Medicare, Social Security, the USDA, and initiatives that support public lands. He says, quote, budgets reflect priorities, and slashing funding for these successful programs shows just how out of touch this administration is with rural America.
Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, what's going on with the rooftops at Montana State University? Officials now warning a third structure could fall.
And in sports, just how dominant are Rockies ski teams right now? Scott shows us with the Bears opening the national championships tomorrow.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger, Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire, and sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.